special guest here, Francine. We made the long trip back from the Algarve to Lisbon. Well, not really long, it's more like 2.5 to 3 hours. And we did a lot of touristy things in Lisbon, which we didn't do on the first day that we were here, so that was kind of cool. It gave us a little bit of time to reflect on what the best places were in the Algarve that we visited. We visited Lagos, Portugal, which is where we stayed, as well as Albufeira. Now, in terms of which one is the best, well, it really depends. All right, I brought my special guest here, Francine. Okay, off camera, we decided that she's not the special guest. She's my wife, and she's the subject of many of the videos that we took.
Yes, voluntarily.
So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the authenticity and the local feel. And I thought Portimao had the most of that. They had lots of restaurants and cafes that were away from the touristy areas. So if you compare that to Lagos, now albeit we were just in the old town, but there was not much in terms of local action that we saw. And Albufeira was even more touristy in terms of having some big North American themed restaurants, like a big Texas and Louisiana restaurants and those sorts of things you'd probably see back in North America. So I would give the edge to Portimao, and then maybe Lagos, and followed by Albufeira. How about you?
I totally agree with all of those.
The next criteria is the old town charm. And I thought that Albufeira had the best old town charm. It had the very narrow, windy streets with steps, and it had that almost that Greek feel, even though I haven't been to Greece, either of you.
No.
That's what we picture in our heads of what Greece looked like. And you have the outstanding ocean views from there. So it's quite neat, lots of churches and that sort of thing. Yeah, and Lagos was pretty cool too. Like, it had a lot of streets that sort of branched out from the main center, lots of cafes and that sort of thing. So it was pretty comparable, but it wasn't quite the narrow, windy steps that you saw in Albufeira.
Yes, I found it more open. Yeah, exactly.
And then, like Portimao, it was a lot flatter, I thought, and the old town that we saw was maybe a little bit smaller and kind of more sparsely populated. Yeah,
agreed.
Okay. The third criteria we were thinking was historic buildings, and in that department, I think Lagos won because we saw the fortress, we saw, what else did we see? The castle, we saw the walls of the city.
Yeah.
And those are very cool. And then if you throw in the street art where some of the walls were painted with really wonderful
the
art.
murals were something different.
So we would say Lagos is the best in that regard. Albufeira had had the nice old churches. Portimao, not so much. It was more of a regular town, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the final criteria, and the one that everyone's probably curious about, are the beaches. Now, this all has to do with preference, because if you're a traditional beach person, you like the soft sand, your traditional beach volleyball, Albufeira is probably the way to go there, right?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't find the beaches as wide in Albufeira, but the sand, there was something about the sand that was softer. The way it was laid out, a little more beach friendly.
But if you like scenery, then Portimao, especially Praia de Rocha, where we were staying, is absolutely the king.
Oh, stunning.
Yeah, like the sand is very compact there, but you can walk through sea caves and rock outcroppings and things like that. It's like the most beautiful scenery.
And when the tide is out, there's just miles and miles of beach to walk on and explore.
Right. And then in Lagos, we didn't really see much of beaches. I think there was some there beside Old Town. Maybe there's better ones, and you guys can comment in the honest. But in terms of scenery, Portimao certainly wins.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so overall, I think that would be our choice. I know we're biased because we stayed there, but I like getting away from the touristy areas, as well as having the ability to explore the scenery was pretty cool.
Yeah. Great.
All right, until our next trip, we will see you later.